sold to us as the progressive voice of reason who would be able to moderate Trump's crazy impulses. But whenever he does anything reprehensible, she skips town. Like when he proposed the first Muslim ban, she went skiing in Aspen. When he gutted funding for Planned Parenthood, she went skiing in Whistler. When he fired James Comey, she went skiing on the powdery slopes of Mount Kofifi. Ivanka was supposed to be our Wonder Woman, but now we're just wondering where the fuck that woman is. And we know she's not skiing because it's June and also because her dad deported all the...
Have you heard about the jaw-dropping rumor swirling around Chelsea Handler's latest stand-up appearance? Word on the street says she unleashed a stream of bold, cutting remarks aimed squarely at a certain ex-office holder. It all supposedly went down in front of a roaring crowd, complete with shocked gasps and wild cheers. By the end of the show, people were left speechless, wondering if they'd just witnessed the start of something far bigger than a typical comedy roast.
All the infighting, you know he hates when people fight. He absolutely hates it.
Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. I'm gonna bomb the shit out of him. Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees, I promise.
Yeah, throw him out. Throw him out into the cold.
Go home to mommy. Go home to mommy.
The story is juicy, the accusations are intense, and if the whispers are true, Chelsea didn't hold back a single punch. This entire saga has everyone talking. Fans of the outspoken comedian are rallying behind her fierce brand of humor, while loyalists to that ex-office holder are raging about supposed disrespect. But is there a hidden motive behind Chelsea's pointed barbs? Did her set reveal shady truths we were never supposed to see? Or is this just a larger-than-life rumor fueled by social media chatter? Buckle up, because this is one roller coaster.
Trump will be saying to his kids and Melania's body double sitting in his gold-plated dining room. Trump has a lot to be thankful for. On his recent trip to Asia, he got to play this super fun game of Red Rover in the Philippines with Duterte. Red Rover, stop sending Mexicans over. He's also thankful that Melania was able to find a new friend when she was over in Beijing. It turns out she's as eloquent on Twitter as her husband. After meeting the panda...
Filled with secrets, alleged egos, and a spotlight that won't quit. And trust me, this is where the drama only begins. Chelsea Handler has built a name by holding nothing back. Her comedic style is equal parts fearless commentary and outrageous storytelling, never shying away from controversy. In fact,
even more of a bag than we originally thought. We heard some truly insane testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Cassidy painted a very unflattering portrait of Trump's behavior on January 6th, including the little bitch fit he threw when the Secret Service wouldn't let him go to the Capitol during the riot.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol."
And when grabbing the steering wheel didn't work, he grabbed the car by the...
Controversy seems to be her comfort zone. She's been known to call out actors, musicians, and politicians, always leaning into uncomfortable topics that no one else dares to touch. People love her or hate her. There's rarely a middle ground. That's part of her draw. You know she'll say exactly what's on her mind, however brash or shocking. The rumor we're dissecting arises from a reportedly explosive set in which she turned her sharp comedic lens on a specific former leader. The claims are that she didn't just poke fun, she dug in deep, unleashing a barrage of hypothetical jokes that were so raw they...
Trump, syphilis. The New Republic has a theory that Donald Trump may have contracted syphilis in the 1980s, around the time he looked like this. And Melania looked like this. New president, whose name is Donald Putin Trump, who the majority of Americans think is a huge fucktard.
Bordered on personal attacks. Critics say they were tasteless, fans say they were spot on, but everyone seems to agree they were unforgettable. So why target that particular individual? Some argue it's all in good fun, the comedic tradition of roasting public figures. Others suspect a deeper motive, that maybe Chelsea's personal grievances with that ex-official run deeper than she's letting on. And if that's the case, there's a chance this was more than just a comedic act. As the rumor mill churns, folks are hungry for every possible angle, each new piece of gossip fueling the belief that we might be looking at a scandalous unveiling of secrets. If the whispers are
Prepared and well-informed, and he said stuff like this.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
The only dead pet I know about is the one on your head, and she mopped the f***ing floor with it.
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Why can't you just be happy you'll have somebody to date when you get to prison, girl, huh? He lied about everything. He said he knows nothing about Project 2025. He lied about the 2020 election, and he lied about IVF.
I have been a leader on fertilization.
No, you're not. That's Nick Cannon, asshole. But Trump's biggest lie was about his health care plan.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
I don't want a world leader with concepts of a plan. A concept of a plan is what I...
Chelsea didn't waste time warming up the crowd. She allegedly dove straight into some biting commentary about how the ex-office holder handled public appearances and behind-the-scenes deals. Imagine the setting. A jam-packed theater buzzing with fans who showed up expecting typical comedy, only to be blindsided by an onslaught of personal jabs. The immediate reaction was a mix of nervous giggles, thunderous applause, and a few scandalized gasps for good measure. People in the audience claimed she compared certain leadership decisions to nothing more than a desperate popularity contest, joking that the ex-official would do anything for attention. Did she cross the line? Well, that depends on who you ask. Some labeled it comedic genius, raw, unfiltered, and completely on brand for her. Others balked, saying she basically launched a personal attack disguised as comedy. The strong emotions in the crowd were palpable. Half the room erupted in cheers while the rest recoiled in disbelief. That first swipe set the stage for what would become an evening of relentless barbs. A few spectators even mentioned that Chelsea at one point paused for dramatic effect, as if to savor the tension before delivering her next blow. This tension, they say, is what created the perfect atmosphere for the comedic carnage that followed. Yet no one expected that initial punch to be just the start of something bigger. The rumors spiraled almost immediately. People whipped out their phones. Social media posts flew. The comedic takedown was trending. But that was only the beginning. After the show, the internet exploded with talk of what supposedly happened backstage. There were claims of hush-hush meetings, flustered crew members, and whispered threats of possible retaliation from the ex-leaders. Closest allies. Some tabloids even suggested that associates tried to call major media outlets, urging them not to give the rumor any airtime. The result? Complete Streisand effect. Everyone wanted to know more. Alleged leaked voicemails popped up. People started spinning theories that the ex-official was fuming in private, pacing around in a closed-door suite, complaining about how unfairly he was being portrayed. Insiders from the comedic world, anonymous, of course, revealed that Chelsea wasn't even surprised by the blowback. She was apparently gearing up for it, almost relishing the idea that her performance would set off major sparks. Those who've worked with the ex-office holder before say this isn't the first time he's faced intense criticism, but they insist this time feels different. Why? Because it's not another politician or a talk show pundit slinging accusations. Instead, it's a comedian with a massive platform, a dedicated following, and a flair for stoking public outrage. That combination could amplify the rumor beyond anything the ex-leader could have prepared for. And if those backstage whispers about meltdown moments are even half true, the pressure is clearly building. It's anyone's guess what exactly Chelsea said during her stand-up routine, but rumor has it she hurled lines that were designed to paint the former leader as manipulative and shallow. We're talking about hypotheticals like, he's convinced half the world he's a champion, but behind closed doors, he's just whining about not getting enough praise. Another rumored line might be, you can take the microphone away. But you can't take away that craving for the spotlight, can you? The words sound as if they're crafted to poke directly at the ex-official's pride. One especially biting hypothetical jab floating around is, he's still living in a fantasy where every stage is his and every critic is a traitor. If Chelsea truly said something like that, it's a savage indictment of ego and insecurity. True or not, people are latching onto these rumored lines because they sum up a deeper narrative. A once powerful figure, desperate to cling to the public's attention, suddenly caught in comedic crosshairs and left with nowhere to hide. Observers say these rumored lines cut deeper precisely because they're so specific, far from the generic political jokes that slip off a public figure's back. It's one thing to mock a policy or crack a silly pun, it's another to zero in on alleged personal failings, blow them up on stage, and serve them to a crowd eager for scandal. Whether these lines are real or just rumor, they've already sparked a social media firestorm. And as the gossip escalates, so does curiosity. Did she honestly speak these words, Or are fans just inventing shock value jokes to hype up her performance? The rumor didn't stay confined to comedy clubs and a few tabloids. It instantly went viral. Various news sites grabbed the story, blasting sensational headlines like "Chelsea's no-holds-barred roast leaves ex-leader reeling," or "Comedian's merciless jabs ignite political firestorm." At first glance, you might assume these outlets were just trying to capitalize on the hype. But if you dive into comment sections or social media threads, you'll see that this story has lit up every corner of the internet. Fans of Chelsea are applauding her boldness. They insist someone needed to call out the ex-official's entitlement. Critics accuse her of stepping out of line, saying such personal mockery is disrespectful and fuels pointless drama. Meanwhile, neutral onlookers are stuck in the middle, unsure if they should chuckle at the rumored jokes or cringe at how vicious they might have been. Speculation is also swirling about whether the ex-officeholder's team might mount some kind of response. Are they planning a counterattack? Could there be a lawsuit or public statement? Even if none of that happens, these rumors have been enough to feed a constant cycle of speculation. And with each new claim of behind-the-scenes meltdowns, conflicting statements, or hush-hush phone calls, the public's appetite for more is insatiable. Some folks are even posting amateur breakdowns of the rumored jokes, trying to dissect deeper meanings and guess Chelsea's real motivations. The entire spectacle feels more like a TV drama than a fleeting internet rumor. Behind every rumor sits the tantalizing notion of an ex-official undone by his own ego. That's precisely what's being whispered now, that the man in question has a track record of overconfidence, stepping on toes and stirring up controversy. This latest comedic ambush, folks suggest, could be the final straw. They say he's always believed he could do no wrong, that he was untouchable in the eyes of his base. So hearing someone like Chelsea Handler call him out, in front of a live audience no less, hits him where it hurts most: pride. There's talk that for years he's been crafting an image of being unstoppable, able to shrug off every accusation. If these jokes truly shredded that facade, then we're looking at a potential turning point. Remember, comedy has a unique power. It can deflate even the grandest claims of greatness by exposing hypocrisy in a way that's both entertaining and impossible to ignore. If the rumor is correct, that's exactly what happened here. The ex-leader may have found himself on the losing side of a comedic showdown. Some suggest that the meltdown, if it really happened, came from the shock of encountering a voice he couldn't easily control or dismiss. While he might have been prepared to argue with commentators or political opponents, a stand-up comedian's stage is a different battlefield. There are no formal rebuttals, no controlled press conferences, just raw jokes, humiliating punchlines, and a crowd eager to be entertained. And if his ego is as massive as some claim, this situation could be downright horrifying for him. When rumors start rolling, they can become unstoppable. That's precisely what we're seeing here. After the initial burst of chatter, every day seems to bring some new piece of gossip: alleged direct messages from show insiders, secondhand accounts of frantic phone calls, and speculation that the ex-official is trying to block recordings of the performance from surfacing. Of course, nobody has confirmed any of it, but that doesn't stop the rumor mill from grinding on. Fans of the comedian are using hashtags on social media to celebrate the unmasking of a man they believe has long hidden behind a carefully curated public persona. Critics are denouncing it as a cheap stunt, calling for a boycott of her shows or labeling her jokes as vile. The arguments get heated in online comments, with one side praising her bravery and the other side insisting she's gone too far. Yet the more people argue, the larger the rumor grows. Will Chelsea double down, or will she move on to the next controversy? Will the ex-officeholder publicly address the rumors or let them fade? And most importantly, how will the audience remember this moment when future controversies arise? For now, viewers are left to decide which side holds the truth. But one thing's certain: the shockwaves from this alleged comedic takedown aren't fading anytime soon. The stories of backstage meltdowns, hush-hush calls, and savage one-liners seem to be growing louder, not quieter. You can't deny the drama. So as you think about it all, the rumored jokes, the possible secrets, the potential meltdown, ask yourself, do you believe these rumors? Or do you think the whole story has been blown out of proportion to stir up scandalous chatter? One way or another, the intrigue continues. And that is precisely how you keep viewers on the edge of their seats long after the show ends.